Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today we're taking a seemingly simple 5-minute story and basically breaking it wide open to uncover the really profound underlying mechanics of resilience. I mean, on the surface, sure, it's a cheerful children's tale about the little bird who never gave up. But when you look right beneath that surface, it provides a remarkably clear map for understanding exactly how we handle failure and how we navigate that brutal friction between our ambition and our actual ability. I am absolutely thrilled to unpack this with you today, so let's just get right into it. Okay, let's dive in by asking a deeply relatable question, one I think we've all wrestled with at some point. What actually happens when you realize you aren't good at the one thing you want to do most? It perfectly frames the internal, existential struggle our protagonist is about to face. We all have big aspirations, right? But that very first moment when your ambition collides with a complete lack of skill, well, that is where the true test begins.
All right, Section 1, a big dream.
Before we watch the action unfold, let's quickly meet our cast. First up, we have Leo. He's a small, cheerful bird who brilliantly represents our raw ambition and our raw potential. Next is Milo, Leo's funny little rabbit friend who totally embodies those vital external support systems we all desperately need when pursuing a goal. And finally, we have Grandpa Owl, a wise old owl who serves as the voice of experience, perspective, and wisdom. So, what is Leo's big goal? Well, Leo loves watching the other birds, and he boldly declares, "Wow, I want to fly higher than everyone someday." He doesn't just want to fly, he sets the bar sky high. He wants to be the absolute best. But as we know, setting such a massive, lofty goal right out of the gate inevitably sets the stage for a very harsh reality check. Which brings us to Section 2, the reality of falling. Leo tries to fly higher, but suddenly, whoa, oh no! Leo falls straight down onto a soft pile of leaves. It's a literal crash, absolutely, but it is also a metaphorical crash. Just think about the sheer shock of that sudden drop. He aimed for the very top of the sky and instantly ended up in the dirt. Now listen closely to how Leo reacts to this fall. He brushes himself off and says, "I'm okay, but maybe I'm not good at flying." There is an extreme danger in Leo's reaction here. It's that immediate, defeatist assumption that a single initial failure means a complete lack of inherent talent. It's the classic trap of believing that if you aren't naturally perfect on your very first try, well, you simply lack the ability and no amount of effort is going to change it. Luckily, Leo isn't alone. Milo the rabbit immediately runs over and counters that self-doubt. He tells him, "Don't say that. Everyone starts somewhere." This really highlights the absolutely vital role of Milo as a supportive friend. It proves that our early resilience, especially before we've managed to build up our own inner confidence, often relies heavily on the external encouragement of the people around us just to keep us from throwing in the towel entirely. Moving into Section 3, the mentor's wisdom. The next morning, Leo tries again. He flaps his wings as hard as he can, flies a little higher, and then falls right back down. Frustrated, he cries out, "I can't do it!" But instead of just handing Leo a pep talk or, a technical manual on flying, Grandpa Owl, who's been quietly watching from a tree, uses a philosophical question to interrupt Leo's frustration. He asks, "Leo, do you know why birds learn to fly?" It's brilliant because it completely breaks Leo's cycle of self-pity and forces him to actually think. So Leo answers with what seems pretty obvious, because they have wings. But listen to the owl's response. "Wings help, but practice makes them stronger." The crucial takeaway here is how the owl redefines the very purpose of wings. He changes them from being these innate, magical gifts that just automatically work into tools. And like any tool, they demand rigorous, intentional work to actually become effective. Then, Grandpa Owl delivers the core message of the entire story. Never be afraid of falling. Be afraid of giving up. Let that sink in for a second. This is a profound realization for Leo. It reframes the entire learning process. Falling isn't the enemy here. Quitting is. We can see this transition so clearly just by looking at his own dialogue. Before the owl, his default was totally a fixed mindset. "I can't do it." But after the owl, he adopts a massive growth mindset. He says, "I won't give up." He has completely detached his own self-worth from the act of falling. Next up, Section 4, the daily practice. Now, having a big mental realization is a wonderful thing, but it simply isn't enough on its own. The real, tangible work lies in deliberate practice. So, Leo builds a new routine. He practices every single morning, breaking that massive goal down into manageable pieces by just flying from branch to branch. And crucially, when he inevitably continues to fall, he now accepts it as just part of the process.
Achieving his dream requires small, repetitive actions and a very, very high tolerance for failure.
True progress is rarely a straight line. The very next morning, he still fell. Over the next few days, he practiced daily but still only managed to fly for a few seconds. It was only over the long term, with sustained, gritty effort, that he became a little better every day. Progress is totally incremental, and it absolutely requires sustained, consistent effort over time.
And finally, Section 5, Never Giving Up. As Leo was putting in all this daily work, the story explicitly notes that Milo cheered for him. "Come on, Leo, you can do it." I really want to emphasize that the support system, represented by Milo, remains absolutely vital during the lonely, unglamorous grind of daily practice. Support isn't just for the starting line, it's the fuel that keeps the engine running during the absolute hardest parts of the journey.
And that support, combined with his brand new mindset, brings us right to the conclusion of Leo's arc. Despite the fact that he is sometimes still falling, he makes an enthusiastic final declaration: "I won't give up." This proves that he has fully 100% internalized the mentor's wisdom. The fall has completely lost its power over him. To wrap up this explainer, I want to turn Grandpa Owl's wisdom directly back onto you. Are you afraid of falling or giving up? When you look at your own big dreams, are you letting the inevitable temporary falls keep you stuck on the ground? It's a pretty provocative thought, and I want to leave you with it to reflect on your own journey. Thank you so much for joining me as we unpacked the true anatomy of resilience. Catch you next time.